Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Millionaire Interviews. Be on the lookout for episode 69, where your host, that's me by the way, is interviewed by his brother, Walker Peak. If you want a refresher on Walker's company, then go back and check out episode 6.
If you don't really understand operationally what you're trying to get to, you will not drive revenue. One thing about wanting to do it all yourself, I wouldn't recommend it. You know, if somebody asked me what my long-term vision was, I graduated from college when I was 21. I said, well, Friday I'm going out for drinks. I'm John Sharp with the founder, CEO currently of Staff Source. We also have another company called Data Core, but Staff Source is it's a staffing and recruiting firm currently in 4 markets. We're in Knoxville, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama, as well as Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, continuing to expand rapidly. 6-time Inc. 5000 winner. I'm a former, for me personally, founded and still wholly own this company, as well as I was listed 2014 Young Entrepreneur of the Year in the Knoxville area, and have also been listed on the Tennessee Hot 100. Several accolades and merits from our business. I don't tend to, hey, those are great things. I love the art of business as much as anything. You can have the plaques or I can take the plaques. They have been effective from a public relations perspective, PR perspective. I've enjoyed the success and certainly some of the trophies that have come along with it. But I enjoy the art of the business. It's more impressive to me that we've been able to execute and continue to build a system over and over and over. Today, we have a company that's in 4 different markets, still growing very rapidly, at about 25 employees and growing. Got a couple of other ventures as well. As an entrepreneur, I believe in multiple streams of income. And so we've got another launch company that we're doing with Data Core, which is a company that's doing data, ultimately artificial intelligence, machine learning concepts into the hiring space. So how to use artificial intelligence and machine learning to hire more effectively, whether it be capturing more backgrounds or just better executing hiring decisions and using data, a data-driven model to do that. And so obviously we're employing that in the staffing company as well as taking it out and commercializing it in its own solution. And then lastly, I have a commercial real estate company too. So we've been able to accumulate some commercial real estate and do some leasebacks on some of the offices to our company, to Staff Source. And that's been a heck of an investment vehicle for me as well. So if I make bad decisions in one place, hopefully I'm making better ones in the other, and it kind of offsets. But I've been doing it for, really almost 18, 19 years now. Been in the staffing space for 15, 16 years. Not all that in my own company, but I grew it from scratch. And
you're a big Vols fan we were discussing?
I am a big Vols fan. Yeah, of course, man. I actually started out and played baseball at Georgia State University. And I tell you, man, for me, getting your ass kicked daily on a baseball field and learning how to, I would love to say 300, but that's not the truth. It was probably more.
You could say that. We won't look at the stats.
Yeah, right, please. And so anyway, it's a very humbling experience to hit 1 out of 4 and to call that success. But I will tell you, in our space that we're in, it taught me how to fail. That college baseball experience taught me how to fail and to get back up and keep going. And I'm probably too used to failing today in some ways. But I started out in Georgia State, finished at UT, got an undergrad out of UT. So, yeah, of course I'm a Vols fan. Go Vols.
Out of being a Vols fan and graduating there, did you start your company right away, or can you tell us your experience about leading up to starting your company?
If somebody asked me what my long-term vision was when I graduated from college when I was 21, and I said, well, Friday I'm going out for drinks. And that was it. I will tell you, I had signals and symptoms of an entrepreneur very early on. But no, when I graduated from UT, degree in finance, and I had a lot of accounting in my background. So I went to work for a controller of a healthcare services company and did that for about 18 months before that company decided to sell. And fortunately, I was kind of in the top in the management team of that organization. It was a smaller entity. They hit a home run on the sale. They sold that particular part of the healthcare was going through significant consolidation, ambulance services, transportation, and the company sold. Owners made really good money at that point. So I worked for them for about 18 months, and I was getting a couple of different job offers from AMR, American Medical Response. And I got an opportunity and an offer to go into sales with another organization, so a big Fortune 500 staffing company. And, at the time I was just like, okay, got one cool opportunity here and this one is being offered to me. And I'm like, what do I want to do? And so I went to the library at UT Knoxville, studied the staffing and recruiting industry and the human resources industry. And I'm like, man, at the time it was a $60 billion industry, right? And this is 1996, 7, so it's been 20 years. And I'm like, I like this. There's going to be a lot of money made here, and this is going to be a growing issue over the course of my lifetime. So I guess I lied about looking to Friday. I'm a long-term thinker. The least I can do is this is a good place to be, a good place to be playing, no matter what I decide to do in it. And at that time, it wasn't start my own company. It was just go into this industry. I joined this company in August of 98, started off and became quickly successful. Just being a member of the team, got 2 or 3 promotions over the course of 18-month to 2-year period. And that's when I decided to go out. So I was probably at the time, let's say 26, 2000, around that 2000 timeframe, 2000. Yeah, I think it was around 2000.
You're preparing for Y2K?
I was preparing for Y2K. We were making a lot of money, man. We were making money hand over fist. 98 and 99 were just fantastic economies right before Y2K, before we got into 2001. But that's what happened. It was kind of, I will tell you, man, even in working for a Fortune 500 company, right? I remember about 5 months into that job, I was having a lot of success, probably too egotistical at the time, really. But I kept explaining to my boss how we needed to do things. And she kept telling me, we don't do it that way. That's not the way we do it. I'm sure we need to be doing it this way. I'm one of 10,000 people, and I need to be writing the rule book. That battle and just going back and forth. And I'm like, I know how to do this. I feel like I can take this to the market myself, offer a better service point to prospective clients, to the marketplace. That's what I did.
Can you tell us a little bit more? I mean, did you have any money saved up? Did you have a business partner next day you open an office? How did it work out?
Dude, I took a pair of credit cards and rubbed them together and created enough to eat beans.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey would be very proud of you.
I guess he would be very proud. Right? I mean, like,
he'd be happy about the beans, but not about the credit cards.
Yeah, he's definitely play the one. I didn't have a choice. No, I had no money. In fact, I think at the time I had just a touch of debt, and I believed in investing in myself, but no, I had no money. I had 2 credit cards. I probably had rolled those up to $10,000. Had a nice office space, and at that point, not a ton of overhead, right? So I was going negative in the hole if I didn't create sales every month. But I didn't have a ton of overhead, so I was running lean and mean. And I am known for being able to open a cold can of beans and eat them, and I can keep on working. I can do it while I'm talking if you want to. I've done it plenty of times. But yeah, so lived cheap and just started, and fairly unsophisticated and uneducated in the sense of what I was doing, really, other than understanding a model about how to execute, and did that.
Well, you just at your apartment, you're calling the people that you were calling before, but saying, hey, I'm Staff Source LLC. Or just because some of the listeners who are listening, I'm trying to think if they were in the exact same situation. Obviously they're super smart. They're 26 and they know better than their boss. If they're going to try to do their own company that's maybe potentially the same or similar to what they were doing before, I'm just trying to get an idea of how you were able to accomplish that.
Just not smart. No, I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. I wasn't smart enough to know the potential pitfalls. I didn't look at, am I going all the ways that I could fail? I think some of it was just embedded in my DNA. At that point, I was sure I could be successful. I knew in my mind the better way to do it. I also knew that I'm looking at this industry and going, hey, I don't have to have all of it. I just have to have a part of it. It's expanding. I can expand it client to client to client. But I was a risk taker. And I will say this, and I think something that was really helpful for me and has separated me from my career is I'm an accountant by trade. Now, you meet me, I don't look like an accountant. I don't talk like an accountant, right? But I understand debits and credits. I understand economic models. And it was critically important for me to understand that because I essentially knew that, hey, at that time, this is a 10% economic model. So if I can generate $10 million in revenue, I can generate $1 million in EBITDA. Just knowing that was helpful. I think that kind of mitigated some of and talked me into the risk because I knew what the potential rewards were. But I'm a believer in this, man. Sometimes I believe in vision, I believe in planning, but I don't know every turn along the road. You don't know every turn along the road. The great ones that I've studied from, and even Dan Caulfield, my coach to me and a mentor to me, is like, hell, don't try to know it all. Sometimes you got to get on the field and start playing and figure out what the adjustment looks like. So if you try to figure it all out, I believe in the front, you'll find out more reasons not to do it than to do it. In some ways, I was just crazy enough and dumb enough to pull the trigger and did. And then took those 2 credit cards and survived. I think even in the early days, man, you get on an island. I think especially when you work alone like that, you don't know what you don't know. Sometimes you just got to power through and push through, and you just got to want it. It's sheer drive, determination, a belief that you're going to win. I am optimistic by nature, man. I mean, I can walk around any street corner and I believe on the next side of it, that thing's going to have a pot of gold, no matter what. And I've really never lost that. I believed it when I was 26. I believe it today when I'm 43.
You're a Vols fan, so you got to believe that way, right?
Dude, we've been hanging on since 98. That's absolutely right. Well, we're die. If you're still a Vols fan at this point, you're diehard. I mean, hard carry.
It's like, that's me. I'm a Jaguar fan, so I understand.
Yeah, you know how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the optimism's key. You got to be optimistic. It's hope. Now, I certainly have learned that hope is not a strategy. You can't live on that. And the more strategic and the better